Adventuring across DayZ, you might come across some items you want to trade, and although every server is different, there are certain items that are usually more valuable on almost all of them. And here I'll show you exactly what you should look out for so you don't have to sell your body to pay the bills. I'll also mention some items you could probably leave alone. If you liked the video, please leave a like or a subscribe, it really helps me out. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
You can have it, I was just checking that you... Okay.
Keep in mind there are no universal laws for trade value, but this should act as a pretty decent guide. Starting off, we have the simplest one, which is high-powered weapons. Weapons like the M4, the CAM and the LAR are highly sought after due to their power and effectiveness in combat. Although there are other powerful guns you can acquire such as the Mosin, their spawns are just too plentiful for them to be worth anything. So just because it's powerful doesn't mean its trade value is high, whereas people do get attached to M4s and especially the CAM. The SVD and the VSS is also good, and so is the SVAL. But these guns are no good unless you have adequate ammunition. Having a good supply of ammunition is crucial in DayZ, and having full mags for the aforementioned guns are definitely good trade resources. As a general rule of thumb, the quicker you go through ammo, the more it needs and the more valuable it can be. I always recommend collecting ammo if you can and keeping it on you if you want to trade, even if you don't have the gun, and always be on the lookout for the larger magazines which carry more rounds. Now with regards to medical supplies, this varies depending on the type of server. On a hardcore server, you may get more value for tetracycline, whereas on a combat server, morphine and EpiPens are usually just as valuable, whereas on the others they're not quite as high. Pox antidotes are also something that can trade for a decent value. Next is food and water. Food and water isn't really valuable even on hardcore servers unless somebody is really desperate. Food and water is not that valuable to trade. However, there are certain items which can be valuable, such as a good conditioned cooking pot or something like a tin opener, but this would mostly be on Livonia servers that are quite hardcore. Then we have building materials. For players looking to build bases, items like nails and wire can be quite valuable. Code locks or combination locks, depending on the server, is also highly sought after. Nails can usually be quite high in value on almost all servers because most of the resources to build a base can be resourced with some hard work, whereas nails can only be found or traded. Then we have vehicle parts. Vehicle parts can be a game changer for some people in DayZ, so finding a working vehicle or parts to repair one can be extremely valuable, but it's very rare. As a general rule, I don't recommend carrying vehicle parts around, but I'll always keep glow plugs or spark plugs just in case. Certain armors such as the plate carrier can hold a decent trade value, but it's not as high as something like the nails or the guns you use to damage it with. However, something that is extremely valuable is the bunker card. This is extremely valuable because it's so difficult to get and it leads to some of the best loot on Livonia, so it is absolutely worth keeping one if you find it, and make sure you don't get ripped off for it. Further items such as gas bombs or anything throwable such as toxic or flash grenades aren't really that valuable. This is also true for certain clothing. The ghillie suit as a complete set can trade for quite a high value, but independent items not so much. However, woodland colour is way more desirable than tan. Same with the NBC suit, that is more of a required taste and specific to the person you're trading with, because some people just don't want an NBC suit, but a complete one can still fetch you a decent trade value. But one thing that is absolutely invaluable is clicking on this video here and learning way more about DayZ and maybe even things you don't know. But as always, until next time.